So let's move on to the third question of the evening. Comes from Amy in Lake Orion. And Amy says, I was reviewing some real estate papers that I had signed last year after the lender, who is a private lender, called and said that because I signed a mortgage deed that had ballooned, I needed to pay the loan off within 30 days or go into foreclosure. What is a mortgage deed, and is it legally binding, and what do I need to do?
Where did she say she's from?
Lake Orion.
Okay. We don't do mortgage deeds in Michigan.
Okay.
Okay. So, I tell you, goodness, Blair, over the years, just hearing these questions, like you learn to pick up on little things, and I hear investor, I hear mortgage deed. When somebody calls me from out of state, and we do get a lot of calls because we deal with a lot of issues, real estate investors who are investing either in Ohio or Michigan. And this lady, she's living in Michigan. There's a mortgage deed is very similar to a land contract. Okay.
Okay.
And so, but before we get into land contract, she says, what's a mortgage deed? A mortgage deed is you've given the lender a deed to your property as security, a deed, okay, in exchange for the mortgage. They hold on to the deed while you pay on the mortgage.
Okay.
Okay. We don't do that in Michigan. In Michigan, we give the lender a security interest in our property, but we still hold title to the property. Okay. So we don't convey or give as security a deed over. Okay. That's a mortgage deed. The most similar thing in Michigan would be a land contract, except in a land contract, the person who's buying the property or refinancing the property never had title to the property.
Right.
Okay. So when I hear private investor and I hear mortgage deed in Michigan, what I'm hearing is that there's somebody running around who pulled off a document offline. This is what I speculate, but this is just experience, that went online, did a deal with this lady. He's a private investor, or they're a private investor. And the first thing is they're using the wrong documents. That's number one. Now, just because you name something, the title of a document isn't as important as the substance of the document. So you can call something one thing. That's not the issue. It's what does the document actually say? Okay. So we'd have to look at the document and see what really happened. Did they really take a deed from her, you see, or did they file a lien on the property?
Right. Okay.
But that often happens with real estate investors, or, in general. Oh, hell, I think you remember me a couple, like maybe over a year ago, I went in front of a group you were at, and I went and I showed a bunch of documents, what people do.
Yeah.
Shouldn't. Well, I got something today. I was going to go online and share it, but I always, I just get distracted. Somebody gave me a promissory note that they wanted me to collect on. And I looked, and yeah, there's the figure. It says promissory note. It fails to state when it's due, what the monthly payments were, what the interest rate was. It just says, we lend to you. It doesn't even say if it ever needs to be paid back. And that's their promissory note. So, again, people pull documents off the internet, don't cut corners. You don't have to come to me. There's many good attorneys out there. Believe it or not, there's some great attorneys out there. I'd like to think I'm in that category or close to it. But go take your documents to somebody. And, if you're lending on that promissory note, by the way, it was a $65,000 promissory note. Why aren't you spending several hours to have somebody who does this every day review and make sure that it's done right? Same thing with this lady, because actually, I think on that deal, getting back to that lady, because I've kind of gone off a little bit, but that lady is going to, if she wants to save her home because there's a balloon on there in 30 days, he wants her out. Wow. I mean, she's going to have either they're going to have to work a deal out between themselves, because if they don't, they're going to have to go to court. So she's going to either have to pay him and work it out, which she shouldn't do now until she has an attorney review the documents to make sure, like a forbearance agreement or a mutual release or some type of modification. Don't do that on your own. And if you're not going to do, you get an attorney. Otherwise, you're going to be in court.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Pay me now or pay me later. Boy, I did not mean to lecture on that. It's insane. But yes, mortgage deeds do exist, but they're not in Michigan. I believe in California, which is a big mortgage deed state. People can call and correct me, but I think that's very popular in California.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Amy, same thing to you. Send your documents over to David so that he can review them, take a deeper look at them, and help you out with that one.
Right.